Scriabin was a very unusual, unique figure of the turn of the 20th century. He started as an admirer and disciple of Chopin, hence his early etudes, the set of 12, opus 8, written in his 20s, resemble Chopin's cycles of opus 10 and opus 25. And it would be interesting to compare what Scriabin took from Chopin and what he brought in as an individual composer with his own voice. Around the turn of the century, Scriabin absorbed a symbolist movement, which was part of the Russian literature culture, which was inherited from France and other European trends. And Scriabin's style transformed and became much more looking into the future. And the set of 8 etudes, opus 42, come from that period, written in 1903. And it already is more chromatic. It is more colorful in a transitional way from the Romanticism into the 20th century. And then he explores different sonorities, different colors, different harmonies, and different pianistic devices. And then fast forward to 1911, when he is already in the midst of his philosophical quests for finding the answers to his existence and the art existence. So he is really becoming quite avant-garde. And in his opus 65, 3 etudes, he explores parallel intervals of the 9ths, 7ths, and the 5ths. And there is a quote which I wanted to read to you from his letter when he announces the issuance, the completion of this mini cycle. He writes to his friend and follower, Leonid Sabanev, also his biographer. He says, I inform you of news that is rather pleasant to me, maybe not indifferent to you, and quite unbearable for some proponents of classicism. A composer, you know, has written 3 etudes in 5ths, oh horror, in 9ths, what depravity, and in major 7ths, the final fall. What will the world say? You know, Scriabin, of course, throughout his life wrote works like preludes in great quantities. Etudes are relatively a smaller body of work, 26 of them altogether. But it's an interesting sort of a synopsis of his style development in this particular genre. And I think there is a lot to explore. I don't think too many people focused on Scriabin etudes in particular. So I thank you for introducing this idea, which would be part of the month-long musical celebration of the piano etude. And thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much. So what do you think you might focus or try to accomplish through this only an hour long course?
It would be interesting to give samples of various specimens in this genre, from the earliest piece that he published, written when he was 15 years old, the Etude in C sharp minor. And mind you, not all of the etudes are purely technical etudes. Some of the etudes are etudes or studies of mood, color, certain character. So the first one in C sharp minor is a slow etude, but it's very polyphonic, and it changes keys, and it's quite interesting and very beautiful, very melancholic piece, unusual for a 15-year-old. And then look through Opus 8 and just maybe give a few samples and see how he treats different technical issues, and be it parallel thirds or sixths or octaves, or other devices, how he juxtaposes rhythms, between the voices. And look at the language, and then go on to Opus 42, and then Opus 49, Opus 56, and Opus 63.